I was just watching GC Performance video, and he does some great videos over there in Florida in the USA. And what is really good about what GC Performance is offering is he's got a bike shop, and he gets the bikes out into the car yard, and he basically does a walk around, and he tells you all the different components on the bike. So even though we can't go to a local bike shop and see them because there's no stock, he's telling you what components on them, what the prices are, what the features are on the bike, and what the colours are, so we have an informed position if we're going to go and order one that we haven't actually seen or ridden. So he's doing a great job there. But he did then mention about the integrated handlebar system, which I just want to talk about. Now on this particular bike, instead of doing what some of the other manufacturers are doing, like the specialized bikes where they're running the cables not inside the stem, but they're actually hidden just under the stem. So if you look underneath the bike, you can actually see the cables, but if you're riding the bike, you can't see them. They're hidden, but they're not internal, they're not concealed. But Scott went for a different approach. What they've done is they've made the cables go through the handlebars and into the stem, and then they go down through the integrated system down into the fork and frame and so forth. Now to do this, they will have to have put a hole in the back of the stem. And what I like about this is that's where your clamping forces are, because you look at a bike, and we all know that the little clamps actually pretty close together. Usually they're maybe only an inch apart, maybe 2.5 centimeters, and they clamp, and that's what holds the handlebar in place, stops it spinning, and also stops it coming off. Now, with those clamping forces there, they've actually put a hole right next to the clamping forces to get the cables that go into the stem and then back into the integrated system. And this is where I think these integrated systems are not really mature yet, because we're building these bikes very, very light, and also with disc brake bikes they're trying to make them extra light, and they're using systems like EPS technology, which is expanded polystyrene, so they can make the bike thinner and get better compaction so they can get the bikes lighter. And then they're drilling holes in the components to get these cables to be integrated so you can't see them. So in short, what this is doing is it's basically weakening those components. Now, my question is to manufacturers, are they making those components thicker? Are they building up those components to a higher strength and testing them to allow for these holes that they're putting into the forks and they're putting into the handlebars? And we do know that there's been quite a lot of recalls on these new designs, and there's also been a stop ride on handlebars, which was related to the Canon bikes. Now, the Canon bikes probably a little bit of a different thing, because that was more to do with the way that they were using a special component to fit the brakes onto the handlebars, and that was basically putting a point pressure on the handlebars, which caused it to fail. So that's maybe not related to the integrated system, but it does show these manufacturers with their designs are not fully appreciating the components they're using, like carbon composites, and the way they fail. And this is something I think that it needs to be raised, and manufacturers probably need to go and clean the chalkboard and go and re-look at these designs, or put sleeves in there, like put a sleeve in that part of the handlebar, or the sleeve into the fork steerer, like Specialized did for their Pro Rider bikes. They actually had a bonded aluminium piece that was inside to give that steerer extra strength, but they're not getting that on the production models. So I know weight is critical, and we all like to see a light bike, But if you're going to make these designs, I mean, before before you even get them down to the UCI limit, they've got to be strong enough for the general public. Not everyone's a pro cyclist and weighs 55, 60 kilos. You know, some people riding, they're over 100 kilos, and, you know, they may hit a curb or they may do a few jumps off a curb. I don't know if people do that, do bunny hops and things, and you've got a lot more weight there. So these bikes need to be able to take that, especially when people are putting a small fortune on these type of bikes. So, same thing, guys. Leave your comments down below. I personally would not like to buy into this technology currently because I don't think they've got it sorted. So many brands out got so many different systems they're using, and I think I would like to wait till one basic design starts to float to the surface, and that shows to be the most reliable. But currently, it seems to be that it's like a seat post. Every manufacturer is making a different type of seat post for their frame, so it's proprietary and you have to buy that piece. And I think with these integrated systems they're having in the steerers and the stems and everything like that, we will end up using maybe only one or two designs eventually. But at the moment, everyone seems to be doing something different, and I think some of those designs are really not good enough. Okay, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it, and I'll see you next vid. Cheers.